Waffle, waffle, waffle.
Hello, welcome to Die Rollin. I'm the ever excitable Adam, and today I'm going to be telling you about the games that I played during March. So, I played quite a few games in March. Obviously there was Aircon, and you're probably sick of hearing me talk about Aircon in a moment, but Aircon was brilliant. But yeah, I'm just going to rattle through the games that I played and tell you a little bit about them and what I liked about them, what I didn't like about them, and then I'll tell you my favourite game of the month. Now, before I begin this, I'm going to start with the game that I enjoyed, which wasn't a board game. And if you've seen any of my videos recently, or if you've spoken to me, or if you've watched any of these Wednesday Waffles, you'll probably already know what this is. So the game that I really enjoyed playing that isn't a board game was Eat the Reich. Eat the Reich is a fantastic role-playing game where you play vampires coffin dropped into Nazi-occupied Paris, and your whole task is to drain all of Adolf Hitler's blood and critically destabilize the Nazi war machine. It's a fantastic, fun frolic through a furious France. There's another F there. And yeah, it's not going to be for everyone. It's very violent, very bloody, very gory. You could probably tailor it for different people, but overall it's just great fun. It's fun to run. I really want to play it now as a vampire, but yeah, I'm the forever DM, so I won't get a chance to probably. But yeah, it's great fun. If you'd like to play it at UK Games Expo, let me know and I'll try and arrange an evening for us to do that, because yeah, it's just great fun. Very easy system. You are literally choosing a stat, you're choosing some equipment to help you out that stat, you're spending blood to give you abilities, and then you're rolling dice and assigning that dice to do different things like clearing the objective for a scene, or killing Nazis, or drinking blood. That kind of thing. Yeah, we've got a full gameplay video of that that's going to be up this month, as in April. We just have to edit that together and it'll be up for you guys to check out. So Eat the Reich, highly recommend it. Rowan, Rook and Deckard, I think is the name of the people who make it. And I think it's available at some places for pre-order. You might even be able to buy it from some places, but it's coming up in June maybe. It is a very beautiful book as well. Like, if you just like collecting role-playing game books for the art styles and how they look, then that's definitely one to check out just for how it looks. It's fantastic. So yeah, that's my role-playing game of the month. It is Eat the Reich. So let's go to board games I played. And I have a huge list of board games that I played here. I may miss some off because I would have forgotten I played these, and because when I went over to Aircon, I didn't actually list every single game I played as I played them. Some of them have kind of gone off my my radar a little bit. I've just realised another one that's not on this list, so I'm going to kind of scribble this down whilst I talk to you. So let us begin with the most recent games I have played. Because these are games which I wouldn't have mentioned on any of our kind of like waffles. So we played a game of Pirates of Skydock. Pirates of Skydock is a board game where you are basically in the Starfinder universe. You are a bunch of pirates who are trying to steal a new ship that is being created in a space station dock. It is a cooperative game, but you are trying to be the player who gets the captaincy at the end of it by getting the most glory at the end of the game. It's great fun. Very easy to learn, very easy to teach, and it's got a bit of strategy in there. There's not too much of a take that element. The board looks nice, the components are really good quality. There's not a lot of bad things to say about this game. Christopher and I played this game a couple of times, and we've got a video that'll be coming up this month on the channel to go through what we thought of Pirates of Skydock. It's a review copy sent by GaleForce9, so we're very, very happy they sent us something, because it's a game I'd seen, I was intrigued by, and when they kind of reached out to various different content creators saying, hey, here's a list of games we've got, what would you like to cover? I was like, well, you know what, I haven't seen much coverage around Pirates of Skydock. Let's give that a go. It's one I want to play. So yeah, Pirates of Skydock, highly recommend, really fun, and it'll be up on the channel this month for you to check out. Next, let's talk about Imposter Kings. Imposter Kings is a pretty interesting card game where you are trying to get the most points in a certain amount of rounds. You have a bunch of cards in your hand. Everyone has the same kind of cards. So you basically have to try to get the highest card at the end of the round by laying down a card from your hand. Now, what makes this more complicated is everyone's cards have abilities. So each number 2 card, for instance, has the same ability, but there'll be like a couple of 2 cards out in the game. Yeah, we're going to be doing a gameplay video for that on the channel, and it'll make more sense when you actually see that in action, because it's very hard to describe. But yeah, you're essentially just trying to be the highest card on the table, but there's so many things you do manipulate the entire kind of stack of cards. So yeah, really interesting game, lovely artwork, but it's definitely one we need to do with at least 3 players, because I can imagine people getting really into that and really kind of aggressive with each other, which could be quite fun to have on camera, or it could, kill us all. So that's the Imposter Kings. Next, Vampire Heritage. So Vampire Heritage is a game in the Vampire the Masquerade series. I don't know too much about Vampire the Masquerade. My brother, much more well-versed with this particular area, but I know the general idea is that in the role-playing game, at least, you play various vampires who are from various different clans, and you are basically trying to live your best Anne Rice style life. The board game, this particular board game, because there's quite a few different Vampire the Masquerade board games, this particular board game, you are trying to create a legacy, and it's a legacy game of your kind of power and stature, I guess. It's set over several different years, and you're going to be adding creating new vampires every time you're playing this game, adding stickers to various different places, and there's a bit of a narrative to follow through. What's interesting about the game is you basically have a recruitment phase where you are recruiting one of various different vampires or kind of humans that you're bringing into the fold, and each one of them has 3 symbols on them. The 3 symbols will affect 3 different kind of mini games that you're playing, and whoever wins the mini games are going to get X amount of victory points per vampire that matches a particular symbol. So yeah, there's a lot going on. When we first played it, Christopher lost because he couldn't get the grasp of one of the mini games, and if he'd got the grasp of that, probably would have been a bit closer. But yeah, we're definitely going to get on the channel. We're trying to figure out how to film it. And a lot of the issues we have with getting card games on the channel is trying to figure out how to film it. Like, we have Seventh Sail, which City of the Seven Sails, Seventh Sea, City of Sails, something like that. It is a pretty cool card game, but is tricky to figure out how to film it. So once we know how to film that, we will get that on the channel, because that game, although I cannot remember the exact title of it, Seventh Sea City of 5 Sails maybe, it was really good. So yeah, Vampire Heritage is another one we have to figure out how we film, because you kind of need to see board, as like the 3 boards, as well as everyone's vampires. So yeah, it's kind of tricky to film, but we will figure that out and we will get it on for the channel for you guys to see. But Vampire Heritage, really enjoyed that. Next, another review copy we got was Age of Aeons. Now, we had this before their Kickstarter campaign. We did manage to get the footage up beforehand, but it is a really fun game. Very simple, very easy to learn, hard to kind of master, very strategic, but like I said, very simple. The artwork is phenomenal. The theme is quite cool, and if you play it, kind of role play a little bit as you do it, it's great fun. But yeah, expect to see a video of that up on the channel. If not the actual gameplay video, then at least a review, because it definitely deserves some exposure, because it's a great game. So that's the kind of games we've been playing recently. So let me rattle through the games that we've been playing at various different points during this month. And we're going to start with the score. The score is not on my list because it's, again, one I forgot to mention. But the score is a game I'll always get out. It's so much fun. It's a cooperative narrative game where you're essentially trying to do a heist. We did do a film of that for the channel. I wasn't 100% happy with it because everyone kind of came out making an action movie rather than a heist movie. But I guess we'll put that on the channel anyway for you guys to check out and enjoy or criticize. But yeah, score, very small footprint game, but it stays with you. It's great narrative, cooperative kind of game. Next, let's talk about Ito. So Ito or Ito is a game where you basically have a subject. You have, every round is a subject. You have cards given to you that range between 1 and 99. And you have to lay down so you take a card, it'll say 60 on it, for instance. And you'll basically have to think of what the theme is. So what the subject for the round is, so let's say you've got to come up with a superhero pose, ranked lamest to best, and lamest will be a lower number, best will be a high number, and you look at the number 60 and try and figure out where that would sit on this kind of like scale. So if you're the first person, it's pretty easy. If you've got a 60, let's say if you've got a 50, you know it's going to go right in the middle. So you'll put it up right in the middle of the table and you're like, right, this is the pose, and it's going to go in the middle. And then everyone else has to look at their cards and try and think, well, you know, is my card of a 60 better than, you know, whatever card they put down? Is the card they put down at, you know, 665? And mine is lower. So you've got to try and figure out where yours kind of sits in the grand scheme of things. And when you've got a couple of people doing that, it's quite fun. The different subjects are quite amusing, and overall it's like, once again, a small footprint game, but it's really fun, like a little party game. We played a game of Wormspan recently. Wormspan was fine. I'm not a huge fan of Wingspan, if I'm honest. It's okay. It's very much about collecting kind of points rather than doing anything, I guess, from my perspective anyway. I know a lot of people really enjoy it, but Wormspan for me was an interesting theme, and it was fine. I don't think I'd be in a rush to play again, but if someone got out and like, let's play Wormspan, I'd play, sure, I kind of get the general idea for it. It's, you know, it's enjoyable. But yeah, it was fine. Not much really to say about Wormspan, just, yeah, if you like Wingspan, it's kind of more the same, slightly different. And yeah, the theme's not going to be for everyone, but then the theme of birds isn't for everyone. So yeah, that's Wormspan. ISS Vanguard, played that with Will. We played the tutorial. That will be on the channel as soon as he's edited it. ISS Vanguard was fantastic fun. I thought I was going to enjoy it, and it's one of those games you kind of play and then you're like, I kind of want to play more of this. Kind of be like Paracle. When we played Paracle, it was like, this is really fun, want to keep playing this. And ISS Vanguard had the same kind of thing. Is a narrative cooperative game where you are essentially following a story through, and you can use an app where they fully voice narrate all the different characters in it, or you can just go through a book and, you know, somebody at the table is just reading everything out. Highly recommend it if you are looking for a cooperative sci-fi exploration game with like heavy narrative elements. It's easy to kind of learn from the looks of it from the tutorial, unless we played everything wrong. But yeah, we enjoyed playing it, and I'm looking forward to playing more of that. You will see that first video up on the channel at some point this month, hopefully. So, Dungeon Saga Origins, Glimmer of Greed. Anyone who's seen my recent kind of videos will know that I've struggled with DSO. DSO is a fun dungeon crawler for the most part, but I had an issue whereby a particular level I felt was exceptionally hard, and there is a rule in there which basically says that if your entire party is knocked out, well, if anybody is knocked out, then you basically lose all of the equipment they had. So I had a total party kill, which meant all my guys who I played for like 12 adventures, they lost all the stuff they had apart from their legendary gear. And the legendary gear sounds good, but it's not as good as some of the other stuff you can pick up. So yeah, slightly disappointed with DSO Glimmer of Greed, but I'm enjoying the challenge of the new levels. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Kind of spoils it a little bit if you are watching Dungeon Saga Origins, that there will be a total party kill moment. But I've kind of put in a bit of a house rule in there that basically going forward, I'll get 2 attempts at each level. If I can't do it the second time, I'll just move to the next level, just so that we can see the entire campaign. So there might be a lot more videos this time around if I keep failing. Next, Shadows of Brimstone. Shadows of Brimstone, just great. And what was really nice, I played that at Aircon, and I created my own kind of mission, which I haven't really done before, and it played fine. Everyone had a good time at the table, and it was lovely seeing the Western setting again. I've been playing the Tridarian Strike Team, so it's all very sci-fi in the derelict ship. So actually going back to the roots of a Western kind of experience, it was really fun, and it kind of has an element of Borderlands in there where you can come up with some wacky kind of ideas and characters in there. But yeah, highly, just Shadows of Brimstone is probably one of my favorite games of all time. So yeah, always enjoy playing that. So played some Shadows. We played a game called My Gold Mine, where you play dwarves trying to get as much gold as possible before a dragon kind of eats you. It's a very much push your luck kind of game. You are drawing out cards which may get you gold. It may get you gold and you can move towards the exit of the mine, or it may push you back towards the dragon. And then when you're drawing from that particular deck, it may spawn the dragon. Well, and if the dragon is kind of shown, it doesn't spawn it, it moves the dragon closer to the exit and killing anyone who it comes by. Very easy. Easy to teach, easy to learn, and it's small footprint and just, yeah, a fun game. Anyone can kind of get the general gist of it. So yeah, pretty good. My gold mine, enjoyed that. Dead by Daylight, played that loads on the channel. We've got another video in the can, which we haven't edited yet, which that should be up maybe this month. And when we played the Death Slinger, we played with a random guy called Chris who we met at Aircon, and he was playing the Legion, and it was pretty close till near the end, and then he absolutely just kicked our butts. So that was great. Dead by Daylight, really fun, well-balanced game, and always enjoy playing that one. So here is a Shire. Heroes of the Shire was my favorite game at Aircon. It was a really thematic PvP kind of game we were playing. There, it kind of reminded me of dice throwing in the sense you choose a character and then they've all got their own abilities, and then you're rolling dice and trying to assign those dice to abilities you've got on your character sheet. I'm talking at my butt. You didn't roll the dice. The dice were you won't roll them all. Sorry, it's been a long week. The dice you don't roll, you basically just assign them to stuff, and the dice work as a countdown. So saying like your timer for your abilities coming back. So you don't roll dice. I thought it wasn't like dice throwing. It's like dice throwing in the sense you have a character and you're fighting another character, and the characters have their own strengths and weaknesses, and you're using dice to just choose which one you're having, and then that works as a countdown. There's also a whole mechanic in there about initiative, and initiative comes in really helpful. So if you can do anything to act before people, sometimes that can really help you. There's also a whole player versus environment mode to it, so you've got a big dungeon crawl. Hopefully we'll get a review copy of that at some point, because I'd love to show you guys how that plays, because it is so much fun. So fingers crossed. Next we played Heat, the Heavy Rain expansion. Disappointed a little bit with the Heavy Rain expansion because it didn't really come up with much new weather conditions, many new weather conditions I should say, but it did come up with some new maps which were fun, and a new player. So you can have up to 7 players. We played a game with the offline gamer, and it was about 2 hours which we played. It's definitely a game that could outstay its welcome if you're going to be playing that with a high player count. Overall though, really fun. Loved the new maps, and yeah, the new garage cards they brought with as well. Really good. So next, Buffet Boss. You would have seen that on the channel. My kids have done a video for that as well. That'll be up on the channel this month. Really good balancing dexterity game. Highly recommend checking it out. And the general premise is you have a bunch of food on a plate, and you're trying to stack up your buffet from the buffet and get it back to your table. And obviously things fall everywhere, but it's highly just great fun. Just a really fun game. So then we played Cash and Guns. Cash and Guns is a game I picked up for my family around Christmas. Really good game. You are pointing foam guns at each other. You are hopefully getting as much loot as possible from the loot in the middle. It's very much you've got to kind of read people at the table, because if you take 3 wounds off of people shooting you, then you're out the game. But overall, it's just a really fun kind of little pie game, and if everyone kind of plays in character, it makes it really enjoyable. We played an 8-player game of Captain Sonar. Captain Sonar is never a game that I think is especially enjoyable, because it's so stressful, but it is actually a really fun game, and it's definitely an experience. And if you ever want to give it a go, just let me know and I'll try and sort something out if we're ever in the same area. But Captain Sonar, 2 teams of 4 people in a submarine, each submarine trying to sink the other one, everyone having their own different role to perform on there, and you can play at time, kind of like real time, where everyone's going at the same time, or you can do turn-based. Turn-based is a lot less manic, and I feel like the real-time strategy element of it, where you're all playing in real time, is a much more enjoyable version of the game, but much more hectic and not for everyone. So then we played Psycho Killer, played that last year at the expo. Wasn't as fun this time round, if I'm honest, but it's a solid game that you can keep coming out and just keep enjoying playing it. But yeah, so Psycho Killer. We played June as well, which obviously is a really old and big and thinky kind of game, but actually it's not too bad. I played 2 games that recently, and both times the Harkonnen and the Atreides have just teamed up and won in the first like 4 rounds or something. So it's it's an enjoyable game. It doesn't outstay its welcome at the basic game anyway. And yeah, another one by Gale Force 9, which we enjoyed it. I always enjoy playing the game, but yeah, it can be a bit long sometimes or a bit thinky, so it's not probably the best thing to bring to a convention, but I did anyway, and we enjoyed playing it. So then we also played The Stifling Dark being a 1v many horror game, kind of a bit like Dead by Daylight, but very different. Dead by Daylight, you see where the killer is. In The Stifling Dark, you have no idea where the killer is until you flash your flashlight on them or they attack you. The flashlight mechanic is fantastic. You basically just put this kind of clear perspex, or this yellow perspex kind of or plastic piece down on the board, showing where it can see, and then the killer reveals from their little mini-map what you can actually see. Really fun game. So yeah, we played a game of that, and yeah, it was great fun. And also we played Star Wars Unlimited. Star Wars Unlimited is quickly becoming a very favourite game of mine. Keep playing games like my brother and keep enjoying it. Trying different decks, combinations. It's very thematic. Some of the artwork's not amazing, but the general gameplay is fantastic. We're going to hopefully show you some videos of that on the channel, but like I say, hard to figure out how to film it. So I might look at some other videos of how other people have done it and see how that has worked, and try to replicate that for you guys, so you can see if it's something you'd like to pick up or avoid completely. And if, like me, you get mild gaming addiction, then probably avoid completely. And finally, Stomp the Plank. That was another game we played. Stomp the Plank was pretty cool. You have a little boat, you have 4 different planks off the edge of it, you have a little plastic elephant, and you are kind of moving them into, you're trying to keep them on the boat, and you are pulling out a bunch of cards, and if you get any cards which are identical, then unfortunately move your character 1 space towards the end of the plank. If you manage to get a few cards out in a row, and you stop pulling cards, because you can choose whenever you like to stop, then you add that many weights, whatever the weight next to where you've stopped is, onto everyone else's planks. So as the game goes on, you're going to get heavier and heavier kind of planks, and then the plank's going to fall over, and the last person standing wins the game. Really fun piratical game by Hachette, which was really fun. I heard lots of good things about it, and Will and Claire, Will from the channel and his partner, really enjoyed playing it as well. So I was like, definitely check that out. I'm glad we did, because it was good fun. But what was my game of the month? So Eat the Reich definitely would have been, but it's not a board game. So it's actually going to be Star Wars Unlimited. Star Wars Unlimited is quickly becoming a firm favourite of mine. It's very quick to play, very fun to play, easy to set up, easy to teach, easy to learn, ticking all the boxes there. It's obviously got the benefit of being a very shiny new game, but it's kind of like partly the simplicity of Lorcana, and partly the complexity of Magic the Gathering. It's nowhere near as complex as Magic, but it's got some really interesting kind of decks you can construct from there, different themes, and overall it's just a really fun game. So yeah, the game of the month for me is Star Wars Unlimited. So yeah, that's about it for me for today, because I'm filming this during the Easter holidays. I've got stuff to do, but I hope you enjoyed this quick run through of the games I played in March. We've got plenty coming up on the channel this month, including all the Dungeon Saga Origins that I failed at, and yeah, also Eat the Reich, ISS Vanguard, and anything else that I've mentioned that I've just forgotten from my head. Tiring times on the Easter holidays. I've been ever excitable, Adam. If you've enjoyed this content, let me know in the comments below if there's some things you'd like to ask about the games I've mentioned, or if there's any games you feel you'd like to see us do on the channel, then let us know below. It's worth noting that in the coming months we're going to be focusing very heavily on Skull Tales, currently painting those bad boys up. and we will be coming back for some more Shadows of Brimstone. Guys, I've not had a chance to sit down and play Shadows, the Trudarian Strike team, for a couple of weeks now. So if you are hanging around for some Trudarian Strike team content, it's going to be a couple of weeks before you actually physically see it on our channel. So apologies for that, as I also have a holiday coming up, so I'll physically not be in the country to do anything. Anyway, I've been your excitable Adam once more, and until next time, guys, stay safe, or if you can't stay safe, die rolling.